budget of the Office of the Ombudsman, as recommended by the Department of Budget and Management and approved by the President, is 3.79% higher when compared with the current level of 1.728 billion, but 28.68% lower vis-a-vis the proposal of 2.5 billion for fiscal year 2014 and only 0.79% of the proposed total national expenditure program of 2.268 trillion.
Thank you, Madam Ombudsman. Just a few questions, ma'am. On statistics, may we know how many are the pending cases before the Office of the Ombudsman?
2013, we have 5,333 criminal cases and 5,252 administrative cases.
Ma'am, I tried to make a rough computation, correct me if I'm wrong. I looked at your budget by MFO for preliminary investigation and the total number of preliminary investigations conducted. Would it be accurate to say that it roughly costs government approximately 91,000? Just a simple division. Per preliminary investigation
About
conducted.
70 to 90, it would fluctuate, Your Honor.
When you say preliminary investigation conducted, ma'am, it means per person, per case?
Per case, Your Honor.
Regardless of the number of persons?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, for example, insofar as the cases filed yesterday by Secretary De Lima, that's one case?
It's considered one case, Your Honor, but given the number of respondents...
Yes, but I mean, for statistics purposes,
Yes,
it's
Your
one
Honor.
case. So if it's resolved, you add one to your preliminary
Yes, Your Honor.
investigation
Yes,
case
Your
resolved.
Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You still have unfilled positions, ma'am? Maybe
There
know
are
how
several. There are about 1,000.
1,000 unfilled positions?
I think the accurate number is 800 something.
And when do you intend to fill up these
We have
positions,
been
ma'am?
continuing hiring applicants and trying to fill up the positions, but you know, Your Honor, we also have difficulty to attract takers probably because among other things,
Salary.
the pay is not commensurate with the those they expect from us because while it may be competitive as far as entry point is concerned with respect to private firms, if we want good people to come in, we should at least increase their salaries.
Ma'am, you're talking lawyer positions.
Lawyer positions and even clerical positions. There are 96, in fact, lawyer positions which are vacant.
96 lawyer positions vacant.
No, I'm sorry. We have already appointed 96 from the time we started.
So how many lawyer positions are still vacant as we speak, ma'am?
448, Your Honor.
448
Unfilled lawyers.
unfilled lawyer
Yes,
positions.
Your Honor.
And the salary, ma'am, is
They range from
when they enter the office of the ombudsman? Ma'am, parang advertisement na nga po. Malay mo, may nakikinig na abogado.
SG26, which is 58,000 a month. That's not
Not
yet,
bad,
not net of taxes.
That's
Bawasan-
gross.
Yes, gross.
What is the update on the former Deputy Ombudsman Gonzales?
The case is pending with the Supreme Court, Your Honor. The Office of the Solicitor General came up with a motion for reconsideration.
From the ruling or
Yes.
during his reinstatement? Would that be correct?
Yeah.
I recall it correct.
We wanted a clarification. He was ordered reinstated with all the back salaries and all that. And so the Office of the Solicitor General filed a motion for reconsideration. Of course, that would be flattering to the government.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that. It's not that I'm taking his side. Actually, I don't. But actually, I raised this question because of the potential complication. Because I believe the position has been filled up.
No, Your Honor.
It remains vacant.
Yes, the acting ombudsman for deputy, OIC rather, is here.
So,
and
OIC sila po yung for military.
Yes, right. The position is vacant.
So, at any point in time that the Supreme Court should decide and reaffirm its decision on the matter, babalik?
Well, if that's the mandate that will be given to us, then we'll have to put him back and give him, if they sustain their ruling, then we will have to give his back salaries from the time he was suspended and removed up to the time that he will be reinstated.
How has this affected, ma'am, the functions of the Office of the Ombudsman insofar as the position of Deputy Ombudsman for the military is concerned, given that I believe Attorney Falsis is in an acting capacity compared to a full-fledged deputy ombudsman for the military.
Unfortunately, I was not around yet when he was already removed from the office. But I didn't see any dent in the operations of the Deputy Ombudsman for the military, even if we have only an OIC.
Few more points, ma'am. The 30 million additional that you mentioned, this is for what purpose, ma'am?
For MOOE, Your Honor.
Additional MOE?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why 30, ma'am? Why not 50?
Well, thank you, Your Honor. I
No,
take
just
it as
curious,
your...
ma'am. I mean, 30 is a sufficient amount.
I come from the north, Your Honor, and I'd like to believe that I spend our money, the people's money, judiciously.
Ma'am, kindly submit to us your proposed budget as submitted to the DBM. This is not lobbying in violation of the DBM circular. This is a member of the Senate asking for a copy
We will
so
do
that we
that, Your
can
Honor.
see how we can augment your
Thank you,
budget,
Your
which is the
Honor.
intention of the chair.
We need it very badly. Thank you, Your Honor.
Secondly, ma'am, yung use of income, how much income do you generate a year? Projected?
3 to 4 million, Your Honor.
Only?
Yes, Your Honor.
And
Because
you
you do
don't,
not allow us to collect fees.
if we don't put this provision in, you will not be authorized to use 3
We
to
will
4
not.
million.
Well,
It
we
will
will
be
not.
reverted to the National Treasury.
Yes, Your Honor.
One more thing, ma'am, the 1-year validity of the budget, how would this impinge on your functions and duties as you stated here? Tinanong ko po kasi rin yung iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno kung paano sila maapektuhan for the first time itong 1-year validity of budget. Ayon sa DBM, pwede naman daw sila mag-issue ng mayowa pag multi-year yung procurement. But in the case of the Office of the Ombudsman, ma'am, how will it
I
negatively
think we are like
impinge?
the Supreme Court. We have fiscal autonomy.
Yes, ma'am.
So we try to expedite our proposed budget.
But do you have any expenditures or acquisitions that are of a multi-year nature?
Well, the ISSP, Your Honor,
The information technology.
Yes, and we need that very badly because we're having difficulty in coming up with demands for this and that, and we need paperless work.
And the Mayoa, ma'am, will not serve your purpose?
Yes, it won't.
Thank you, ma'am. One of the basic hallmarks of an anti-corruption drive of any government, ma'am, is recovery. May we know the practices, the efforts of the Office of the Ombudsman with respect to recovering
We try
what has
to
been stolen?
institute civil forfeiture proceedings, Your Honor. You will recall that there have been some agitation for the filing of petition for forfeiture of assets, but given the 1-year proscription against filing before the national elections, then we did not institute at all. But we are starting to we are starting these proceedings, but just the same, we have to give due process to the possible defendants. We're going to conduct investigation, just like preliminary investigation, to give them the opportunity to come up with their defense why the assets should not be forfeited in favor of the state.
I remember, ma'am, there was a bill, I'm not so sure if it was passed, that the Office of the Ombudsman will have a share in the proceeds
That's
of forfeited assets.
proposal only, Your Honor.
Hindi pa po babatas yan?
Hindi pa po. We received 100,000 from the US government representing the proceeds of those carried by the family of General Carlos Garcia. We received the check all right, but we had to remit it to the National Treasury. So we were left with an empty bag.
So use of income, assuming sharing is approved by way of an amendment to the Ombudsman Act, that would authorize you to utilize any incomes recovered or a percentage thereof?
Yes, Your Honor.
There have been several opinions raised by some of our colleagues with respect to the provision of the plunder law, particularly Section 5, on suspension of an official.
Yes.
May we know the take of the Office of the Ombudsman with respect to this provision?
Your Honor, I take it that that refers only to cases when the information has been filed in court. But as far as the Ombudsman is concerned, I have said that publicly before that the Ombudsman has no administrative disciplinary jurisdiction over members of Congress.
So it's the Sandigan Bayan, if at all, who will issue a suspension order based on the provision of the plunder law.
Yes, Your Honor. Albeit the use of the word is shall, I don't think it will be automatic on the part of the Ombudsman. No, rather, on the part of the Sandigan Bayan to suspend. I really don't know how, that's really debatable. Of course, the Ombudsman will
Ask for it.
move for the suspension of the defendant congressman or senator.
In the case of former President Arroyo, now Congresswoman Arroyo, ma'am, again, kindly refresh my memory. Does she have a plunder case filed against her in connection with PCSO, or is it only an election sabotage case?
It's plunder, Your Honor. That's why it's non-bailable.
Initially, it was for an election sabotage case, but
Yes,
may I
that's
ask,
pending in the Regional Trial Court of Pasay. That's
Yes,
a
ma'am.
different case, Your Honor.
may I ask, ma'am, has the Office of the Ombudsman moved? Again, I'm not asking, I'm just curious on the application of the provision of the
No,
law.
we haven't. If you're referring to the motion for suspension,
Yes, ma'am.
we haven't.
So, by analogy, if at all, unless it is asked for, the Sandigan Bayan is a passive body, will not act on it, and will only act on it upon motion and upon order of the Sandigan Bayan, only with such an order be issued.
Whether or not the Sandigan Bayan can motu proprio suspend a defendant in a plunder case who is a member of Congress, I'm not in a position to say with authority whether it should or it should not.
One more thing, ma'am, just for the record. You mentioned on media that it'll take you about no more than a year to resolve these cases.
Your Honor, we were just guessing. I said that before we received
Before
the
you saw the
documentary evidence, but I was giving a good estimate, fair estimate. I didn't like to be too optimistic by saying that we can resolve it in 1 month or two. We have to go over the evidence.
So 1 year, ma'am, would be a fair estimate. It's not a maximum, it's not a minimum.
Your Honor, the Department of Justice filed cases by batches. And if that is the case, then we should also file cases by batches. In other words, we will not wait for the entire cases which are the subject of fact-finding by the NBI to come over to us before we resolve with finality the cases which were filed yesterday. So, yeah,
Please,
I'm
ma'am,
sorry.
please continue.
So that the 1 year that I gave is really just an estimate. It could be less.
It could be
I
less.
don't expect it to be more. It could be less.
You're hoping that it won't be more.
I will see to it that it won't be more.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Senator Soto, you have questions, sir? You're
Mr.
recognized, sir?
Chairman, thank you very much. I have no questions with the Office of the Ombudsman. If ever there were earlier, the Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales satisfactorily answered it already. So thank you. Yes, I
Unless-
move that we submit the Office of the, well, that we consider the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman as deemed submitted for plenary.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So moved, duly seconded.
Thank
The
you.
budget, the proposed budget of the Office of the Ombudsman for 2014, subject to some of the amendments as proposed by the Office of the Ombudsman, duly and favorably noted by the Chair, is hereby approved and submitted to plenary for deliberations.